player that you think may leave here in free agency. Brez, you're rolling with?
Dwight Howard.
I
thought he had a very nice bounce-back season. Since leaving the Lakers in 2013, he bounced around the league, spent some time with a handful of teams, kind of lost his way. And by the way, he got a little bit older, too, so that happens. Sometimes your skills erode a little bit. But I was pretty impressed by what he did this year. He accepted that backup role, a spot starter in the playoffs, really made an impact in that Denver series, really bothered Jokic. And I think he's in line for a payday, made $2.5 million last season. Remember, it was non-guaranteed. Didn't fully vest till the first week of January. He's probably looking for that last multi-year deal. I don't know what the number will be, 2 years, maybe 3 years. But a lot of Lakers, as you see there, potentially on the way out. We'll have to see what happens.
Players who are free agents, as well as some guys with player options. Mark Medina, who do you feel like is on the move?
Yeah, I think it's Dwight Howard for, partly some of the same reasons that Brez talked about, but also you look at just the context of what his role was with the Lakers. He was willing to supplement his role because he had hit rock bottom. But as you saw during the playoffs, there were times where, frankly, the Lakers didn't go with him because today's NBA doesn't call for it, where they need to go small. And I think that that's going to be more likely that the Lakers go that route next season. And I think the other thing is he is getting up there in age. When you're looking at championship teams, you always want to keep, obviously, most of the core intact, but you always want to upgrade around the fringes. And when you're doing that, you try to get younger. And I think this is an opportunity for the Lakers to take a flyer on another potential center, but is not as experienced, so they can still stay fresh.
Okay, I'm going to stick with you on this one, Mark. So let's look at a future Laker who's not one, obviously, currently, when you think about a free agent. Who are you rolling with?
I really like Garrett Temple from the Brooklyn Nets. He has a team option. The Nets might decide not to exercise it, and I think he would be a perfect fit with the Lakers for a number of reasons. One, there's a lot of question marks of what the backcourt is going to look like next season because Rajon Rondo might be out because he plans to opt out of his player option. He's another steady vet. He has ties with the Players Union, and I'm sure LeBron will be interested in that. But when you're talking about championship guys, he embodies all those things with the intangibles on the court and his off-court maturity in the locker room.
Brez, did you guys get together before this show and make sure you had all the similar answers?
Yeah,
because you're rolling with someone from the Nets, too.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Garrett Temple. All right, maybe not that much. But Joe Harris, for sure. I mean, I've already talked about him on these shows. I like what he could bring to the Lakers. And it's hard to poke holes in what the Lakers did during the playoff run, 16-5. A lot of memorable moments, some dominant performances. But the one thing that they could stand to get a little more consistent in would be three-point shooting. They were 12th among the bubble teams, the playoff teams, in three-point accuracy, 11th in three-pointers made. This guy could definitely help. 43% career behind the arc. At 29, kind of going into his NBA prime, made about $7.5 million last year. I don't know if the Lakers could meet that or maybe even exceed it. Depends on what they do with some of their guys before that number can be determined. But I think he'd be a nice fit hanging out behind the arc, waiting for a LeBron pass all day.
As you mentioned, Joe Harris, though, did spend time with LeBron in Cleveland.
Yep. Harris, second on the Nets in their playoff series in scoring. So he can put it up quickly.
He can light it up, no doubt. All right. Here's a look at some of the notable free agents this offseason. Check them out. Yeah, what's AD doing up there? Can we just get rid of that?
You don't like that, do you, Alec?
Even though Mark said we don't need to worry. DeMar DeRozan has expressed his disinterest in San Antonio. Gordon Hayward, Marcus Morris Sr. Ooh, could we have both of them? Montrezl Harrell. Quite a list. Goran Dragic.
Yeah, some of these guys, it's going to be hard for the Lakers to get because they are going to be over the salary cap. So they're probably just going to have a mid-level. Whether it's the regular mid-level or the so-called mini mid-level is yet to be seen. It'll either be about $9 million a year for a guy or about $5 million a year to sign someone else's player. So some of those guys will be off the charts, and I do think that they will re-sign Anthony Davis. He can opt out of his $29 million player option. It's probably going to happen. He'll sign for at least probably a couple years with the Lakers. Don't know if they'll both be guaranteed.
이번에 준비한 영상 시청해 주셔서 정말 감사하고 앞으로 더 흥미롭고 유익한 NBA 내용으로 돌아오겠습니다. 영상 재밌게 보셨다면 구독과 좋아요 부탁드리겠습니다. 감사합니다.